it just takes us to 7. So I want to welcome all of you. For those of you whom I have not met or do not know, my name is Jerry Cummins. I'm Director of Voter Service on the state board for the Colorado League. And it's just an exciting time. As I was saying earlier, I've been dreaming about ballot issues for 2 nights.
That's a bad sign, Jerry.
I think it's time to really get going and get in the middle of it. I just want to say hello to everybody. I think we still have a few more folks popping on there. We are covering several topics tonight. I'm going to bring up, if I can, I got to do a share screen here. And give you the agenda. I don't know, can you guys see the agenda?
No. Oh.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, that would be my lack of skills at some technology.
I'm here. I can help.
Oh.
I was just going to ask where you were.
I'm here on request. Do you see the share screen button at the bottom?
Yeah, I did that one.
Okay. When you click it, does it show like a bunch of options to select, like windows to choose from?
I'll have to get back there and find out.
Yeah, try again. We can help.
For Cameron.
I would like to note that this meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Okay, share screen. I'm going to click share screen. And nothing happened, Cameron.
It doesn't show like some windows to choose from, like when you
No.
doesn't.
Do you have the agenda open on your computer, Jerry?
Yeah, it is open.
Green.
Ooh, that worked.
Oh, wow.
There it
There
is.
it is.
Now we got it.
Cameron, that's a good thing I had you around.
Okay, all good. I'll leave you to it.
Thank you. Well, these are the topics that I want to cover. And I've asked several people to join in and discuss their particular areas so that we can go forward. So the first one up is voter registration. And I know that some of you are working diligently on your projects there. And I would like to have a couple people share what they have been doing. Linda Thomas, are you with us yet?
Yes, I'm here.
Why don't you tell us about what's happening up in Larimer County?
Yeah, you know, we were like thinking, well, what are we going to do? The food banks closed up and now they only do drive-throughs. So that was a big resource for us. But one place has a few walk-ins. So they can walk up, they walk up and they have a window. So we're parked out in front of the place and we've gotten a few voter registrations that way. The big thing was I attended another webinar. I think it was the US League webinar, and everybody was putting all these wonderful ideas in the chat. And one of them was to contact realtors. So I asked some of the people to contact a realtor and see if we could bring them some pamphlets, the Your Voice, Your Vote. And this one new member, and she might be on line right now. Is Sharon Johnson there? She contacted a realtor. He put her in touch with the Fort Collins Board of Realtor, the CEO. She's run with it, and now she's posting all our pamphlets with Jerry's permission on their website, and they're giving it to 1,100 Fort Collins realtors and 32 boards and associations across the state of Colorado are also getting our pamphlet, Your Voice, Your Vote. And we're just super excited about that. So every time somebody moves, we've got them covered by these realtors, if they're willing to participate. Not everybody will probably, but you know, it was better than going door to door on knocking on realtors' doors. It's just one fell swoop. And the other idea we have is we're going to CSU, and they're working with us on setting up Zoom meetings and posting posters, and they're doing some things with us at CSU. I haven't got into the high schools yet. Would love to hear some people's ideas on that.
Linda, I have a question for you. Would you suggest that local leagues get in touch with their local board of realtors to kind of push?
Right, and I gave you that link, and I can post it again in the chat. But there's a link where you knew exactly which board or association of realtors she contacted. Then you can go from there, contact that board and see, like we have a bookmark. So we gave some bookmarks to her to give to some of the realtors that has Vote 411 on it, but it's also in your voice, your vote. And Jerry's making that pamphlet available to these realtors, so they'll have that. But yeah, if you wanted to make contact with them, I'll put that in the link next. The other place that we've done has been really, really successful, and I'm ashamed of myself for not going there sooner, is the farmers markets. I just didn't want to do those pop-up tents all the time. So we've been clipboarding outside because they won't let us go inside. And it's all outside registration, and that is garnered around 150 registrations. But not as a VRD. We're just handing out the information, and then so I should say potential registrations. But they were all really excited, and they all wanted to register. So I'm sure that they will.
Well, that's great. Denver, you and I had a conversation last week about voter registration, and how is that coming along? And I'm not sure who wants to speak. I saw Ann Thomas there a bit ago, and I saw Liz Brown. Or Ann Duncan, I'm sorry. Ann? Okay. Maybe
Okay,
we can-
well, we are talking, we have some very enthusiastic new volunteers who are younger than we are. And they're interested in going to Washington Park on the evenings when there are volleyball leagues, which are extremely well attended. We're gonna take Larimer's realtor advice, because that seems like an excellent way to pick up people who aren't already registered. What else? We've contacted a bunch of the museums, and they are fully locked down. So those did not pan out. But at this point, we have lots of ideas, but we haven't actually put them into place yet. But we're getting there.
Has anyone found out any more about the food distribution to the students?
Oh, yes, and we are definitely working on that. We have a contact who, their group distributes 2,000 lunches a week to kids who would otherwise be getting free lunches at school. And so we've just had new home cards printed, and we've given those to her, or at least a couple thousand of them, and they're going to distribute those in the lunches. So those will get out there. And then she has some contacts at fire stations too, and we're thinking about taking a little table and some stuff and sitting outside the fire station and seeing if we pick up anybody that way. So we'll see.
Okay, sounds good. Do we have anything else on voter registration? Otherwise, we'll move it on to candidate forums. And some of you have had virtual candidate forums, and I don't know how many of you might be planning those, but I've asked both Boulder County and La Plata County, which is Durango, to share their experience on virtual candidate forums. And I think Boulder was the one that had the opportunity to go first. Jill Porter had just emailed me that she couldn't get in, so I sent her the link again. So
I'm here.
oh, great. Okay. why don't you tell us about your experience with your candidate forum?
Great. I'll try and give you a very quick summary of a long and lengthy process, as any of you have done candidate forums know. We determined in March, when we were supposed to help Erie do a candidate forum, the Chamber of Commerce there, that obviously we couldn't go forward. So it was kind of a very quickly organized webinar. And it was extremely successful. We were the moderator and timekeeper, and the Chamber of Commerce provided the technical backup, but they had over 3,000 views, I think, of the video of the and on their Facebook page or on YouTube. It was placed all different places, so we really knew how well it could work. So when we were looking at two primary candidate forums for the CU Regents and for the county commissioners in Boulder, we started to think about what would be our primary, what we wanted to make sure virtual candidate forums had that our in-person forums had, and we made sure that we were going to organize, we had kind of the mission to organize and conduct them at the same level of transparency, integrity, fairness, credibility as our live forums. So that kind of was overall goal. We started out and we started out looking for people to co-partner with to help with the administrative and technical components. It turned because you're online, you're looking for an online platform, and we have ultimately ended up using the Zoom webinar, because you have more control over participants, and people can view it but not participate. Sorry, I have a go away. I have a terrier who wants attention. Sorry, but we also co-partnered with the Longmont Public Access, who run the Longmont Channel 8, the public access channel, and that proved to be extremely beneficial. They provided all of the technical backup, and we also live streamed the forum on Channel 8, and then Channel 8 in Longmont, and I'm presuming it continued to live stream from there. So I would recommend, if you can, to partner, if you don't feel you have all the technical ability to do it, to partner with an organization that can help with that administrative and technical components. And it also expands the community outreach. And of course, Longmont Public Access provided us with the links to the videos afterwards. But we also have found that you can, if you have someone who is familiar with working in Zoom, you can do it. It's not rocket science. It's close to rocket science, but it's not complete rocket science. Am I still on?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just didn't know. Okay, so, but we use the webinar, not just the basic Zoom. And what we did is we sent our usual emails by our email of it, the invite 2 to 3 weeks in advance to the candidates, which also had the ground rules that we had revised. And I'll be glad to share the ground rules that we revised for virtual. And I'll talk briefly about how it was marketed, but that wasn't really my responsibility, but I'll talk a little bit about it. And in the email with the rules, with the ground rules, we also sent a link to Google Docs, which was a form that was set up specifically for questions to be submitted by the public. And and you link on that and you could type in your question. A few days before the forum, we after we gotten the response from everyone, and we had to do the usual follow-up with some folks, I sent a very extensive update several page update to the candidates preceding the Zoom update. I mean, preceding the Zoom link. So they would have the update and then they would get the Zoom link. It gave, one of the main things it did is it gave a list of hints of how to maximize their Zoom audio and visual participation. I did a lot of research into the Zoom, you know, what they could do to, you know, to make sure that they were heard and that there were no problems. We did not have a dry run. I know that the Illinois at the National Convention, and they have some excellent stuff. They have an excellent presentation from the National Convention about candidate forums. If you go on to the US site and go to the convention and go to the events, and at about halfway through the candidate forum presentation, they go into virtual, and it's very good. Illinois has an excellent setup, and you can go also to the state of Illinois, to the LIG site for Illinois. Yeah. So anyhow, we sent the extensive update, which I certainly would share with everyone. It's not perfect. I mean, this was our first real foray into it. But it also told them what they were going to, when to link in, you know, and we had them link in 15 minutes beforehand so we could, our technical partner, once again, we used the Longmont Public Access and actually paid them to help us make sure that everything was videoed correctly. I mean, everything was recorded correctly. And so he went through it with each one of the candidates. Anyhow, so that was the questions that were submitted from the community in advance. It turned out to be quite a good way of doing it. And the person who asked about how did we advertise it, when we advertised it, we advertised this link, went out to as many people as we could. So we had a lot of questions, and Peggy is Peggy Leach is on this call today. She did the sorting of the questions, and we had a deadline of a day before the actual candidate forum for people to submit it. She sorted them and then forwarded them to our moderator, Elizabeth Crow, our president, moderated all of the two of them. So she organized, and then she sent them the questions to the moderator. And as I say, I think it worked out pretty well. And we have a way because we're gonna be doing probably 12, maybe 12 this fall. So as far as publicity, as I say, I'm not sure of the full extent of how they do this because that's not mine. But we certainly send it to the usual media. We worked with the CU Regents because that was one of our candidate forums. So I had the CU Regents sending it out to the CU community. And I know we got a lot of questions from them, and community groups, the usual suspects. On the actual day of, and I guess I could just go to unanticipated events. And that was truly the connection. We had one person who obviously he did not have a very strong Wi-Fi. He was an older gentleman. We invited both the Democratic and the Republican candidates to the primary, who were running in primaries, even though it was party-run primaries, just so we wouldn't have any accusations of being, even though there was like only one person running in the Republican one. So we had him, the Republican and the Democrat, but he had difficulty. Older gentleman had obviously a very poor connection. We tried everything to clean that up before the forum started, but he still, it was enough to drive the moderator crazy. There was a huge lag time. It really detracted and distracted from the forum itself. So that would be a definite, that's a definite hazard. And when he participates this fall, we're going to recommend that he actually go to like a neighbor's house or something like that, or a family house to do it. And we had a translator for one of the forums, and so someone could, when they press on the actual, for the video to replay it, they could hear it in Spanish. That's a thing that you can do from the Zoom webinar. Don't ask me how they do it because that's not my bailiwick, but Mandy, our administrator for Boulder County, is very, very well versed and has done a wonderful job with that. I will share, I don't want to take up everyone's time, but we had, I'm not sure of the actual numbers, Peggy may know them, but we had at least 2,000 to 3,000 hits on our YouTube, the YouTube channel and Facebook. We published it both on YouTube, Facebook, and we sent the links afterwards to all of the candidates. Of course, all the FCC rules apply, and so they can't publish part of it, but we sent links to the video to everyone, and it was, again, I think played on Channel 8. I would, in the future, we're looking at maybe trying to get it on all the public access channels, Boulder and Lafayette, Louisville, the towns that are covered by these candidates, and they can continue to play them throughout the election season. It was, as I said, you hit so many more people. It expands your outreach to voters beyond just those at a live candidate forum, and it's connected. We had it on Vote 411, so I don't know. It was very successful. I mean, it wasn't as clean a look, and with each successive one, we've gotten a better looking, more professional output. So that's my 10 minutes on virtual forums.
Do you think that increased voter turnout in that election?
We were actually looking to see if we can come up with any numbers on that. I don't know how you would ever see, but at least for something like the CU Regents, there were 4 people running, and 4 or 5 people running, and normally wouldn't be a very the interest would be low, but the interest is very high for something like this, and I think that a lot of people in the district looked at that. I mean, thousands of people viewed the video, so you've got to feel that at least thousands of people, at least some of those people, who wouldn't have normally voted for the CU Regents because they didn't know who they would vote for, turned around and voted for it. So it was, it was an interesting, and as I say, the Illinois League has lots of great resources, and there was a wonderful hour program that they put on during National Convention.
Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Joe before I move over to La Plata? Okay.
I can't read let me read the chat here. Okay, can I send the revised ground rules and the everything and the update that I sent out to the candidates, and the Google Doc questions, and the invite to you, Jerry, or to Cameron, or somebody who can gather all of that, and then if people want them, they can contact the State League? How would you want to do that?
Why don't you send those to Cameron, and he and I will talk.
Perfect. Great. And I think there was something else that I saw here and I didn't, but yes, they could be recorded. What did I see there? Somebody asked about recording. Oh dear. I'm trying to look at is that on chat? Would I look at chat?
It's posted. Can you post the recordings on 411?
Yes, I believe they were posted on 411
Or was it a link?
It was a link.
Okay.
It was a link. It all was a link. And I will say that there was a problem with the first forum that we did, that there was a long pause beforehand. So I think that got cleaned up after a little while, but as usual, these things can, it's my understanding that it's just a link, and that it was a link to a YouTube. It came up on YouTube, and I watched the YouTube of one of them, And I was fooling around because I don't understand YouTube too well. And I went to the next YouTube, which was one of the candidates. So it's kind of a hazard there. I mean, you have to be, I think we have to be a little careful on how we link. I mean, how we post these links. I'm not sure how you do that, but we did Facebook, YouTube, and they went live streaming to our YouTube page and I think to our Facebook page, or maybe to the public access YouTube page and Facebook page.
Well, good job.
It's a new world out there, but it's,
It is. As I said yesterday, or told somebody yesterday, that the organization has had to turn on a dime and go the other direction. La Plata County has worked with several West Slope leagues to hold a virtual candidate forum for 3rd Congressional District primary election. And I understand it was quite successful, and I've asked them, and they are also writing a how-to to share with other local leagues across the state. So is it Karen or is it Jean who's going to take over here?
Karen.
Karen is, all right. Karen McManus.
Hi, Jerry. Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about our experience organizing our very first virtual candidate forum, which we had on June 10th, leading up to the primary elections. I've made notes, so I'm going to, if you don't mind, use those, and I'm going to keep a little track of my time, so hopefully I don't overrun. It was a team effort from start to finish. Each team member had their area of responsibility, and they did it beautifully. Some of our team members are on this webinar session, and I've asked them if I've forgotten anything to please chime in. They're Jean Arrow, our president, Ellen and Ross Park, our technology duo who did all the Zoom and Facebook and everything, and Diane Goodchild, who does Vote 411, but also coordinated our questions, collecting them and organizing them and everything. And then our other team was our group of co-sponsoring league chapters. And they are Gunnison Valley, Mesa, Montezuma, Montrose Delta, Pueblo, San Luis Valley, which includes Alamosa, Rio Grande, and Saguache counties. And also sponsoring was Fort Lewis College. And our wonderful moderator was Paul DeBell, a professor of political science at Fort Lewis College. The Boulder League sent us pointers based on their recent forums, and this turned out to be very helpful, so we were appreciative. Additionally, Karen Cheek, our new Colorado League president, is a Western Slope member, and she was helpful. The 3rd Congressional District, if you don't all know, is massive geographically. It covers 28 counties, plus part of Eagle County, and it's located on the Western Slope and extends along the southern border to Pueblo area. A real benefit of a virtual forum, which was discussed earlier, is that we were able to actually get candidates to participate. If it were a physical forum, it is doubtful that La Plata or any other of our, or most of our co-sponsoring chapters would have been able to get them. Because this was a federal election, we had to be mindful of FCC and FEC regulations, and we consulted with Jerry on this to make sure we were in compliance. We decided also to use Zoom webinar for our virtual meeting platform, and we were able to use the Colorado State League Zoom webinar account, and this gave us up to 1,000 attendees. We also live streamed the forum on our league Facebook account, and we had a large number of viewers both actively during the forum and after the fact. We were also able to get the City of Durango TV to participate, and they helped us with just some of the pointers on conducting a live forum, and they also recorded the event for viewing upon request later. The most critical component to having a candidate forum is, of course, getting the candidates to agree to participate and find a mutually agreeable date and time, which, given these candidates' schedules, is not always an easy task. We had 4 candidates, 2 in the Republican primary, 2 in the Democratic primary, and we needed to have at least 1 in each of the parties to participate. We looked at possible dates leading up to the June 30th primary, wanting to have the forum either before or soon after ballots started being mailed. Candidates was our current U.S. representative. We checked the House schedule to avoid conflicts with votes and committee meetings, etc. We checked the State League's website account to be sure what dates and times were available for us to use. We came up with 5 dates, including a Saturday morning. We sent email invitations to all of the candidates simultaneously, so they were all getting it at the same time, with an attached letter of invitation from our league president. It's important to develop good contacts for each of the candidates. Someone who is definitely going to get back to you and is close to the candidate and can be in really good contact with you. While all of these efforts were going on to get the candidates to come to an agreement to do it and do it on the same date, our team was simultaneously doing all the logistical preparations and getting ready, even though we didn't know if we were ever going to really be able to have a forum. Finally, we got 3 of the 4 candidates to agree to participate on a specific date and time, so we locked in the date on the State League Zoom webinar account. Then we started the fun, publicity, which is of course critical. We did press releases that we updated, public service announcements. We had a flyer we updated. We emailed our league members. We emailed the State League, newspapers, radio stations, the political party clubs and chapters within our congressional district, elected officials, community leaders, the Colorado Sun, Facebook, doing postings and sharings, Fort Lewis College, letters to the editor, and online event calendars. We enlisted co-sponsors, as I've mentioned earlier, on an ongoing process. And then we created a group email for all of the co-sponsoring league chapter contacts. And we provided them with our flyer, with our press release, with suggestions on how to maybe publicize or whatever. So we were a really good team working together. For the working team locally, we needed an overall coordinator. We needed a host for the actual forum to manage the Zoom and Facebook aspects of the event. We needed our tremendous technology folks for the Zoom and Facebook, a moderator, a timekeeper, publicity people, a questions coordinator to receive the questions and organize them and all, and then questions sorters. For our format, we decided that the chat and the question and answer features on Zoom would be disabled to prevent bombing and things like this. We would not require registration to attend, but we had to let people know, or we tried to let people know, that Zoom does require you to provide an email address and a user ID before joining one of the events. For questions to the candidates from the public, we decided that all questions would be submitted in advance, either through a Google document that Diane created, or by emailing to our league email address, or by having a question submitted via our Facebook account. Diane then gathered the questions as they were submitted, put them into an Excel document, grouped them into subject categories, and then we had 2 league members representing both political parties review questions for appropriateness, duplicates, etc., and then they came up with a list and a tentative sequence. Having a page break. We kept following up with candidates or their staffers just periodically, just to keep them in the loop. We sent them our policies and procedures document outlining the format of the forum so they would feel comfortable with what was going to happen, and our guidelines for the event. And we asked the candidates to confirm receipt of that document so that we were sure there would be no surprises. The candidate who did not participate was given the opportunity to submit in advance a 2-minute opening statement that would be read by the moderator. On the day of, we double-checked and triple-checked everything. We had our team log in 30 minutes ahead so we could test things. We asked the candidates to log in 15 or 20 minutes early, and our league president opened the event with welcoming remarks. Our county clerk and recorder, Tiffany Parker, gave brief remarks about the upcoming election and how to get assistance, register, etc. The results, it came off without a glitch, and we all breathed a big sigh of relief. We had around 1,200 attendees on our Zoom, Facebook Live streaming, and Durango TV. We had very positive feedback from our candidates and from many of our attendees. Important suggestions: practice, practice, practice. We had a practice Zoom webinar session several days in advance with all of our team to get a level of comfort and to work out any kinks. We verified links constantly, repeatedly, by multiple people to make sure the link for the Zoom webinar session was still active, for submitting questions via the Google document still worked properly, for our league website where people could go to get the links for the actual session, etc. And we checked to make sure every time we emailed any of the documents, the flyer or whatever, with these links on them, we checked those links, because we were amazed how many times we would find, uh-oh, this link isn't working anymore. And so we just double checked everything. We also made sure that the candidates and the team had good Wi-Fi connections so that we didn't have to worry about losing people during the session. Follow up after the event, we emailed every candidate, we thanked them, we sent them a list of all the questions that had been submitted, and we asked them for any suggestions they had for future forums. How do we hope to improve? We hope to add the capabilities for Spanish translation and for closed caption and or ASL. We also will continue to expand our publicity, our awareness, and our audience size. That summarizes our experience. In the outline we are preparing, we will include copies of our various documents that maybe will be of use to others. Please feel free to contact us. We're happy to help with in any way we can, and we do plan on having a number of other virtual forums, both on candidates and ballot issues before the November election. Thank you.
Questions for Karen? Your how to do it booklet or document going to be ready?
We're going to have it for our team to review by the end of this week, and then shortly thereafter that. So hopefully by the first of next week, it'll be a good final document we all feel good about and can send to the state.
And we'd like to post it online for everyone to access.
Yes.
Okay.
And please, we love to help anyone else or answer any questions, and so we're available.
Well, congratulations to both of you. And thank you for doing that and letting us all in on your secrets. Okay, what do we got next? Vote 411. Kath, are you there? I know you're there.
I am.
There you are. This is Kath Perron, for those of you who have not met her. She is the coordinator for Vote 411 across the state. So take it away, Kath.
I'm the one that sends the dirge emails. I noticed a few of you, the names on the participants, I went through the participant list. There's a few of you that I don't have on my email list about Vote 411. So if you are not, you want to be, contact your chair, Vote 411 coordinator in your league, and have them contact me. And I'll be more than happy to copy you in on the that I send. So Vote 411, is it more important now than ever before? I don't know. It's been around since 2006. We had over 95,000 Coloradoans use it in 2019. So we're going to expect to hit way over 150,000 come this November. We're pushing for 250, but we'll see what happens. Since 2006, tens of millions have used Vote 411 for their voting and information, election information. So it has won major awards. The Webby Award was just given to it in 2020 for the best online voter guide. And it's free and easy to use. So it's an amazing product. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I have to put it out there, because the three things I'm asking local leagues to do this year is, one, educate your members on Vote 411. There should never be a league member that doesn't know how to use vote411.org. And if you need help, I did a video. It's 4 minutes. You can play it in a meeting. You can send it to people to link. It's on YouTube. I will chat it later. The second thing that I'm asking local leagues to do is PR Vote 411. So Vote 411 is two things in one. It's election information 24/7, 365 days a year. Come election cycle, 1 month out, it becomes a voter guide on top of that, to where you can compare candidates side by side and look at ballot issues, both statewide and local, and compare the pro and con. There's 294 races on the November ballot in Colorado. That is all the way from, well, 95 if you count the president. National League is handling the president voter guide. The states are not touching it. So thank you. Thank you, National. But in the state of Colorado, there's 294 races happening. So a little bit over 450 candidates, because we have libertarians and unaffiliated. So a lot of contested races, which is really good for Colorado. The third thing that I need your local leagues to do is once the invitations go out to the candidates and we give them a little bit of time to respond, I need you to shake the trees. I need you to call, to smile and dial, to contact those key candidates in your areas to respond to Vote 411. Our typical response rate has been 48%. That's since 2006. It's been flat lining. And I'd really like to boost that baby up way beyond to get more of a 75 to 80% response rate. There's a few races that are uncontested, so it's hard to get a candidate to respond when they don't have an opponent. They like to keep quiet and just get elected. But I think this year is our big opportunity because candidates are looking for some way to reach voters. In the primary, it was huge selling point for the candidates to be able to reach unaffiliated voters because this was the first primary that was wide open and they had no way to reach them except virtually. So having the online voter guide worked great for a lot of candidates in districts that had that competition or had heavy, like in Jeffco, we have more registered unaffiliated voters than we have Democrat or Republican. So that's a selling point to our candidates here in Jeffco. How are you going to reach them? But that third point about reaching out to the candidate, I will prepare you through your Vote 411 coordinator or your voter service chair on who has responded as of September 3rd and what to say to them. So I'll give you some talking points and then who they need to contact to get a new invitation if they lost theirs. So you will be armed and ready to smile and dial. The one feature that helped in the primary, which was just freaking awesome, was to use their tool against them or for them, if you consider Vote 411 a win-win, is every time I got a candidate text, I texted them back. And I said, I get my candidate information on vote411.org. Have you responded yet? Let me know if you need help. And I got 6 candidates immediately to contact me within 3 days. It was amazing. I was like, every time I get a phone and it's a candidate or one of their campaign people, I say the same exact splurge. Hey, I get my voter information from vote411.org. Has your candidate responded? Let me get you contacted. And you guys can just email me with that contact information. Or as Karen, our president, did, she called me. We're all up for it. But we want to just get it spread to the candidates first. And then once we publish or go live on October 3rd, which is 1 month out from the election, we will go live with the voter guide. So when you go into vote411.org and you type in your address and click submit, you'll actually get your race listing and all your ballot initiatives that will appear on your ballot. But that's not until October 3rd. So we got to hold off on the press release or the PR until enough time to where we don't put people off. That's the fear, is that if on September 3rd, we tell people about Vote 411 and they go on because they're interested and they see nothing there under their ballot, and to come back later, they may never revisit. It's like going to the movies, seeing the previews, and leaving. It doesn't work. You don't get your money's worth and you don't get a good feeling from the product. So be cautious with the PR. But we will have an entire PR package. It is designed by National, and it has a ton of information specifically about Vote 411. We also have at National, I don't know if you guys have seen these. This is, let me see if I can get this right. These are I Vote Because campaigns. If you're looking for getting people out to vote to increase voter turnout, National has a complete program on how to increase voter turnout and has a ton of social media posts and things available. Just like Vote 411, all the Facebook and Twitter posts are done. You don't have to create a meme in the life. They are ready for you. You just got to post them. And of course, again, with the membership, you have to get the members to share, follow, and repost, because that broadens our circle. And we will also be sending out press releases from the state level on Vote 411 once it goes live. So let me open up chat and see what's going on.
We've got 3 questions that I can see.
Okay. About what you say about the candidates to get to respond. I say, why not? It's free, it's simple, it's easy.
And I say that it can be accessible by the military and overseas voters.
Yep. And it can be printed out and distributed. So there's no limitation. At the primary, I use the unaffiliated just because they've got enough connection through their Democrats and the Republicans, but the unaffiliates are hard to reach sometimes. So that's the other selling point. But candidates are very sensitive about their money and their budgets and what they're spending it on. And since they can't do live interacts, meet and greets, this is the next best thing because it's in their own words. We ask a question, they are able to type in their own answers, and we do not edit or change anything. So it's their stuff. We always tell me when the ballot comes, the website should be up and running. We manage those expectations. With Vote 411 out on October 3rd, when will the first be? Mailing date for ballots is when, Jerry?
October 9th.
Saturday.
No, that's a Monday.
Really? I'm off.
Calendar.
I'm off. Yeah.
October 9.
Yeah. So it's 1 week before the ballots go out. It's 2 weeks before voter service and polling centers open. Or yeah, it's like 1 week out, 2 weeks out, 1 month out.
I'm pulling the election calendar again. I know that's right because I've written it 3 times in the last couple of days.
Friday.
Yes, October 9th. Oh, it is Friday. Sorry. First day that mail ballots for the 2020 general election may be mailed to voters, except the Ocala voters, which is the military and overseas.
Yeah, and we're going live the Saturday before. And the reason why I picked a Saturday is because most candidates are around. So just in case something goes really wrong with their reply or they have a question or whatever, they're going to look at this Saturday morning and check it out. We've gotten the best responses when we've gone live on Saturday. So we're using that for now.
You might mention this questions in Spanish, Kath.
Yeah, that's the next part I was going to say, but I wanted to see if there was any other questions. Not yet? Okay. The big news is the Boulder County piloted this for us in the primary. And thank you, Carol Brown and the team, Celeste, Peg, the gang in Boulder County. what we did was actually got the questions translated in Spanish, posted them, and asked the candidates to respond in both English and Spanish. Now, the turnout for the responses in Spanish with Boulder weren't as high as we had hoped, but we worked out the glitches and we've got it going pretty good. So, remember I talked at the beginning about the 2 sections of Vote 411? There is election information 24/7, 365 days a year. You can type in vote411.org. Our Colorado election information has been in Spanish and English on there since 2019. So you just click Spanish up in the upper right-hand corner and it'll translate that whole screen. And so if people have to find a voter service polling center or find out about early voting or how to mail in a ballot or whatever, that's all in English and Spanish. Now, new for 2020, this November, all of the races will be in English and Spanish. So the race descriptions are in English and Spanish, and then the questions are in English and Spanish, and the candidates can go in and respond in English, and then go in and respond in Spanish by just clicking a button. But they have to provide their own translation. We do not translate the candidates' words. They have to do that themselves. So for those smaller races or the local county races, that might be a challenge, who knows? Or it might work better. We'll see. It's a pilot. We're doing this as best we can. If the candidate only responds in English, when a voter goes in and clicks the Spanish voter guide, the English question and answers will appear. So it's not like nothing will appear in Spanish. The English will come up. But if they responded in Spanish, the Spanish has priority. Now, we are going to be marketing that also, and I'm working with the State League team, communications team in ED, and Jerry to identify areas within Colorado to market this better. National has all the material to market it, so we don't have to create anything. They have videos in both Spanish and English. So we just need to identify how to do it from a state level. But if you have pockets in your community where you can market this, we will be providing you with the information. So keep that in mind. The ballot issues have always, the ballot issue pamphlets have always been available in Spanish, haven't they, Jer?
Yes.
Yeah. You have to buy them.
Since about 2010, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe before that.
Yeah. And Peg, to answer your question, yes, on Vote 411, the ballot issue will be in Spanish. The ballot issue pro-con, the pamphlet, will be posted on Vote 411, both as a PDF, English and Spanish, but then as part of your online races and ballot issues, it'll come up in a pro-con comparison screen in both, it'll be in the system, both English and Spanish. It depends what you clicked on as a voter, what you'll see.
We're also, as long as we're talking about the various translations, we're also discussing translating into, Beth, how do you pronounce the language? It's Ethiopian. Anybody?
Amharic.
I'd say that again.
Amharic, the major language of Ethiopia.
Okay. So that's under discussion.
I'm not doing that for Vote 411 for November.
Okay.
That's fine.
You guys can pilot the paper and the online through the website, but yeah, and maybe we'll add more next year.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Kath? Chat box has.
And then just for PR information, you guys, national, if you just go into lwv.org league management and in the search field type in Vote 411, you get like pages and pages of PR. There's where all the logos are. That's where all the Facebook social medias are. That's where the PSAs are. There's a template for a letter to the editor. It's like everything is out there for you. I'll be putting it together in a packet to email to you, but the links, it'll be all link driven. So share it with your PR and communications people.
Okay. Is that it, Cal?
Just one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to give a shout out to all of the Vote 411 coordinators out there. I wanted to say thank you. You guys are amazing and have been working diligently on this for years, and I appreciate it. For those of you that are brand new to the game, like Carol Brown in Boulder, we apologize that we haven't been able to get out to train you, but your people have been helping and everybody's being very resourceful. So I just wanted to say applause to you guys. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thanks, Kath. Let's move on to a project that is new this year and has just been underway nationally in the last, since spring, I guess, 3 or 4 months. And it's a project called Squint. And you're probably wondering what in the world that is. Rianda Osman is going to take us through that project. Just for background, we were approached in April or May timeframe asking if the league would be interested in cooperating and working on this project. It's MITRE Squint, MITRE-Squint. And it is a project in the Department of Homeland Security, and they are looking at misinformation and disinformation regarding the election process. Nothing to do with candidates, just the election process. Suppose you see something that says the election has, the registration for in Colorado for election is, the deadline is 10 days from the election. Well, you know, we all have same day voter registration. So it's a case of trying to identify misinformation. And Rianda, I saw you on here earlier before. Most of you know her as our technology director. And she graciously said she would handle this. And I appreciate that. So Rhonda, it's all yours.
I'm here. Yes, we're exactly in the middle of the application process that Jerry just described. This is an application to MITRE Squint, and that's a corporation that works within the Department of Homeland Security on data security issues. And this particular project is looking at electoral security. And what it's going to do is put applications on your phone or your computer or your iPad or whatever. And then as you surf your social media, when you see something that doesn't look right or that is wrong, you can push a button and the application will take a picture of the screen and collect information that they need to identify really what and where this post is. They'll send it to MITRE and they will process it into a report that they send back, and it will go to, let's see, we've decided that it's going to the Secretary of State's office. So, you know, then they can take a look at it and say, you know, that they need to do something, or they need to get another press release out, or they need to, I don't know. In the meantime, MITRE will be using all of this to collect some sort of national picture, and we'll be able to put that into a context of other misinformation and disinformation that's going on. So where we are in the process is we've collected 16 volunteers, and this week we're talking to people from the Secretary of State, and start on our phones. So that's where we are.
And for volunteers to give.
Not a moment, no.
Okay.
Well, 16, get them set up at work, and then an open process again, and more people. For the moment, we're good, I think.
And we don't have a training date yet? Not yet.
No.
Okay, as I said, this is just brand new, and I thank the Board of Directors for supporting requests to do this project. And it's a case of if you see something, say something kind of thing. So pleased to be a part of the project. Well, that takes us to ballot issues. I saw Steve Coddington on here somewhere earlier. And so Steve, please jump in anytime.
Okay, I'm here.
Great. He's here somewhere. I'll find you. There are, for certain, 7 ballot issues on the, maybe if I can bring this up. Let me do them, see if I can. Nope. Can you see that?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, this is a listing at this point of the ballot issues, as well as some that are pending signature review. If you knew an issue by a different number, that's because when people file their initiatives with the Legislative Council, it's just assigned a number, a chronological number as it comes in the door. Once it is qualified for the ballot, it's assigned a different number, and there's a whole different discussion called ballot order. And if you ever can't get to sleep at night, just go to the Secretary of State's website and Google, or in the search bar, look for ballot order. But at the moment, we have from the legislature, Amendment B, property taxes. This is a repeal of Gallagher. Amendment C, conduct of charitable gaming activities, bingo and raffles. Currently, well, we can go into that later, what they're about. You've got Amendment 76, citizen qualifications of electors. You'll notice the difference between identification by alphabet and by numbers. The alphabet come from the legislature. If it's a number on an amendment, it's from the citizen initiative process. Then we have propositions, and again, these are statutory. The amendments are all constitutional. The propositions, EE, also pick up from where we left off a year ago when we had 2 issues on the ballot. It was CC and DD. Then we've got taxes on nicotine products. This came from the legislature. You know that because it's letters of the alphabet. And then we jump to the propositions, which are numeric. These are citizens' initiatives. The national popular vote question, restoration of gray wolves in Colorado, prohibitions on late-term abortions. And then finally, we have some pending initiatives. The first one, the local voter approval of gaming limits in Blackhawk, Central City, and Cripple Creek is a constitutional proposal. And the remaining ones are all statutory. So those, we'll just have to wait until the signatures are verified. But that's it as of Monday. And that was the deadline for signatures to be put on the ballot. We have researchers finding the pros and the cons and going through the proposal to identify what are the major provisions in each one. So we'll have to file that and get that ready for print by Labor Day, I hope, because then it has to go to the translator. We need some time to get that translated. I have a question, and I want you all to think about it. I don't need an answer tonight. How many ballot issues, paper ballot issues might you be ordering this year? Given the fact that libraries are not open, you probably will not be able to get to groups and that kind of thing. That may affect how many you order from the state this year. So I will need to know that pretty soon. And if you have an idea whether you're going to be the same, less, more, I need to know that too. Let's see. Oh, we will not have local ballot imprints this year. In the past, we've done that. We will not be doing that this year. So another one of those casualties of life in COVID country. From Cash, that says, will there be a video version of the ballot issue presentation for us to post and share? Yes, we would like to do a video. I know that many of you make presentations to your groups and have done this in the past. Anywhere from 1 to 2 dozen to just a handful. So what, to make it easier to approach the groups that you typically talk to would be to put together a video. I usually write a speech to accompany the ballot issues PowerPoint. If we can turn all of this into a video that you can share Zoom locally, link it, we'll put it up on the state website. We'll put it wherever we can find it. And then we'll go from there. Question from Celeste Landry. Can a local league, oops, bring that back up. Can a local league do a local issues ballot pamphlet if it wants to? Absolutely. That's part of our jobs as a voter education organization. The thing about the local issues is you probably won't get to know exactly what they are for many communities until around Labor Day, because the communities have until like late August to contact their county clerk, who in turn contacts the Secretary of State to let them know what's on the local ballot. So the other way to find out is keep track of your local government. What are they talking about? Are they discussing anything? That's the best way prior to waiting for things to happen late in the calendar as we head for the election year. I think we have a date for League Day, which will be virtual. And Beth, if you're still with us, I think it's the last Saturday in September, if I'm not correct.
I think that's correct.
Okay. Since it's virtual, we have to jump through the hoops of how do we distribute the paper ballots to all of you across the state. So we'll be talking with you about that and going up from there. Question is, do we have the funding for a professional presenter for the ballot issues? Oh, yes, we're talking about that too. And we're talking about a source of funding as well. So a lot of this is stay tuned. Did have a volunteer from one of our board members who said that her son is an actor and quarantining at her house, who has a rich, deep bass voice, which would be wonderful to go through a script. If we end up having 11 issues on the ballot, if you give 3 minutes per issue, that's at least 30 to 35 minutes, because you've got to do an introduction and a wrap up and whatever else you end up doing. We're probably talking about 40 minutes. If you show it to groups, you can pause it, I would hope, and take questions as you go along through the issues, and whatever your imagination dreams up and whatever works for each group as far as that goes. Steve, do you want to add anything?
I think I got it all. Do you have volunteers for all of the currently accepted issues?
Not yet. We're looking for the ones that are still provisionals. The ones that are still pending signature verification. So yes, we will be looking for at least 4 more volunteers. So if anybody's chomping at the bit, I'd be happy to talk with you.
And in this case, if you volunteer and they don't make it, you're off the hook.
And if you went through all of your work to get it done, why, save it. Don't throw it away. It'll probably be back. I do suspect that there are a couple of them that will have made it. The medical family leave, or the paid family leave, the insurance program turned in over 200,000 signatures. They need 124,600 and some odd, 642, I think. So they've got a pretty comfortable cushion. The gambling one, the gambling limits, we've already been contacted by somebody who wants to give us the pro argument. So they're pretty confident that they're going to be on. The other two, I don't know about. I have not heard. I contacted the Secretary of State yesterday and asked them if they could give me a ballpark estimate of the number of signatures, and I got a polite no, they can't tell me. So I'm going to keep watching their website. They'll post it on the website when things have been accepted, or as they put it, deemed sufficient. So I think that's all I have. What else, other questions have we got? I have a category called other on the agenda. Anything else you want to bring up?
Jerry rocks.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. You've been a great audience, and I've loved all your questions, and I want to thank you ahead of time for all the work you're about to do. And have
Thank you,
done.
Jerry.
Oh, you're welcome, Joe. We'll be talking to all of you, and thanks a bunch. Have a good evening.
Adios.
Take care.
Jerry,
Yes,
will these ballot issues be online also?
absolutely.
The same as the pamphlet will be online also?
They will be online. They will be on Vote 411.
On 411, okay.
And in PDF form.
So
And
that nobody can change them.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Okay.
on your
Jerry, this is Karen. I have one question, and you may have covered it and I missed it. Are the ballot issues that you listed, are they all now definitely going to be on the ballot, except those ones that were at the bottom that said tentative or whatever?
Right. That's right. You read that correctly. We have 7 definites and 4 pending signature review.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Jerry.
Hey folks, I'm new, Peg Hingham, in Colorado Springs. I want to do a lot of voter registration. I want to wear a mask, and we're thinking down here about designing a mask. For the league, do you know if anyone's doing that in the country?
We've had suffragette masks produced here in Jeffco by our volunteers. We bought kits and volunteers sewed them, and they're the purple, white, and yellow. But if you just go online to like SD or Amazon and put in the word vote masks, there's a ton of them.
Okay.
And then on the national website, there's materials, but they don't have any masks yet, but they have like water bottles and posters and things like
that. The logo for the 100?
411 masks.
Oh, I see Beth Hendricks with a Vote 411 mask.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, babe, how did you get that and I didn't get that?
I have no idea.
Where are those available?
Through one of the local leagues. Of course I had to pay, but I will find the link and send it out to y'all.
Thank you.
For those who are new on this one, and Peg, you just identified yourself as one, I have a voter service list, a blast email list. And if you want me to add you to it, or anybody else, if you're not on my list and would like to be on, send me an email. My email is, I should put it in the chat box quick like. It's jerry.cummins@prodigy.net. I can't get there. Anybody in Colorado Springs has got it, Peg.
Okay,
Juliet, Linnea, Davy.
okay.
Sharon Lamoth.
Yeah.
People got it.
Was the mask just available to purchase and you received it, or someone sent it to you?
I'll send out the link.
Okay. There were some league t-shirts. I think that was, do we still have some at the state office? I'm not sure.
Absolutely. Also hats.
Okay. Paraphernalia. Well, good luck to everybody with all your activities. It's, I know it's going to be a busy time, and on November 4th, I want you to all relax. And take life easy. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.